You made it. We didn't.
I did.
We waited for you, man.
Whoop whoop.
We heard that there was an emergency and you had to go see a farm.
I did. I had to go to a farm on emergency.
Yes. David said he has to go to a farm, you see?
Something about you farming cysts.
Yeah, it was something like that. Farming cysts. That sounds disgusting.
Farming.
It actually sounds like the sequel to Human Centipede.
You know,
The
the sequel to the
fourth
Human
edition?
Centipede is actually the Human Centipede 2.
I know.
But what about 3?
There is one.
I
there
know.
will be one.
I'm pretty
I don't think
excited
it's
about it.
Human Centipede 4 is called cyst farming.
I was scarred for life by the trailer for that movie, the first one, so I prefer to not even think about it existing.
Man, I love to think whenever I get really happy when I think about the fact that it exists. I get even happier when I think about the fact that other people are bothered by the fact that it exists.
I just, guys.
I'm like, man, somewhere somebody is cringing at the thought of the Human Centipede right now.
Me, right here, now. It's unpleasant to think about.
I can't help but get giddy about it. I'm like, man, it makes me so happy.
You know what's funny? We have a
Pink topics?
we have a new head honcho at our company. And the very first time I met him, he walked up behind me when I was explaining to someone Roger Ebert's review of the Human Centipede. So that was my first.
And he was like, "Wow, that's my favorite movie."
Well,
No, he said all like that.
believe it or not, that would have made a lot more sense than what he actually did say.
Well, now I have to know.
I have to know too.
He told me he was busy as a bee in a bucket of tar.
Okay.
Does that mean he was number 2 in the chain?
Oh man, damn it! Why couldn't he have come up behind you, Bob? Because then you could have said that to him.
No, then he would have been last in the chain. It would have been worse. I would have gotten fired.
He would have been like, "What? What does
But
that
I
mean?"
would have had
And
to
you would have
take
been
him with me. Sorry, okay.
like, Yeah. Hey, listen here, buddy. If you fire me, I'll kill you.
Boy. Great way to start
I-
the show, guys.
Fantastic.
I forgot we were.
Yeah.
You're alive.
Yeah, we're.
Yeah, no, see, I was going to say something, unfortunately, Human Centipede related, and then I realized we were live, so I'm going to not do that.
No, it's okay. I personally do not think that our live viewers are a bunch of pansies. So we can talk about the Human
No,
Centipede.
you never know.
I would like to take a poll
I
of our
vote that
viewers.
I vote that we stop talking about Human Centipede.
I also vote for that option.
Yeah,
I vote for this as well.
Cam, you're outvoted, so.
Motion is passed.
God. But the good news is the Bulls and the Cavs are going to meet in the playoffs.
The Bulls, at this point, look like they may destroy the Cavs, but we shall see.
Well, it depends.
They absolutely just went completely ballistic on the Bucks last night, and
Yes,
I don't think I've been that happy during a basketball game all season. I mean, I was just, it was so good. It was so good. My favorite moment was when Scottie Pippen stood up
Like he was
when
gonna fight.
Antetokounmpo went full on fucking linebacker on Dunleavy. That shit was crazy. I don't know what a linebacker actually does, so that may not make sense in reference to what he actually did. I don't know anything about football. But yeah,
You've never seen
Yeah,
Terry
the
King,
Cavs.
office linebacker?
the Cavs are having tough times right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No love. 2 games with that J.R. Smith.
And they're 2 home games, which means that basically if we lose one of those 2 games, then it's probably pretty much over.
I fully expect you to lose both of those games. I'm just going to be real with you here.
We should figure out who's going to do these remaining pink topics or kill them, and then we should do.
Yeah.
I thought I took almost. Wait, is there more?
There are 3.
Oh, there are 3. I don't.
Is there are more? 2 more 4 3s?
Custom.
I say we totally kill the add-ins one. We can totally kill that one.
Yeah, that's boring. Nobody cares about Office.
I don't even know what it is. So
I don't either. Also, the patent thing. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, I personally feel.
Let's get
ugh.
rid of that.
So then that just leaves custom voice launch things.
Do we want to do front of the show and end of the show tags in post, David, for the sponsor?
I don't think we need front of the show.
Okay, so just mid show and then thank you.
Yeah, mid-show and thank you. That'd be it.
Okay, and who do you? Okay, I'll just do the thank you at the end then. And
Okay.
kind of reiterate the main points of the mid show.
All right.
Cool. Are we ready to begin, you boys?
don't know if my right click would ever actually bring up a menu. Maybe I could delete these rows.
Try Control. Macs are funny like that. Excuses.
Well, it's not that it's not doing what I want it to. It's just that it's taking
It's slow.
forever.
Yeah.
What I want it to.
Macs aren't slow. I heard that once. They're never slow. They're
Well,
always perfect.
old Macs with old OSs. When you have old Macs with new OSs, they are slow.
Okay, I do believe we're ready now.
All right.
What about Mad Max? What if you what happens when you have Mad Max?
My whole house is full of Mad Max right now.
Yes.
Like all of the Macs in my house hate me. They all hate me.
When
One
you
of
have a
one of
bunch
them's
of-
only a
when you
year
have a-
old.
When you have a bunch of Mad Max, it ends up looking like a Tupac and Dr. Dre video.
Well, we all saw what happened to Mel Gibson, so
It's true.
we are recording now.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Friday, May 1st, 2015. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Ruddock.
I'm Cameron Summerson.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
And my name is Bob Severns. Welcome everyone to the show.
Welcome. All right, well, we're going to get started with Code Google. All right, so we've been hearing about it for a little bit now, the upcoming Android Wear device from Tag Heuer, and it sounds like we might be getting a few more specifics coming out of some various reports from various places. So, Ryan, what do we know new about the upcoming premium smartwatch?
It will allegedly be out in either October or November, and it will cost $1,400, which is a lot for a smartwatch, but is actually kind of mid-range for a Tag Heuer watch. All of their mechanical watches are
Frozen
pretty
one are in.
expensive.
Hello.
Yeah. The cheapest ones they make are about $800 or $900, and they go up to $4,000 and $5,000. So, I mean, this will be a really nice smartwatch, I'm sure, but I don't think many people are going to buy it.
Did we get the beginning of that, Matt?
We did not get the beginning of that. Sorry.
Well, shit.
We totally froze up, and it came in about halfway through whatever it is that you were saying.
Okay,
It's the Mad Max.
let's go back in time, and then
Mad Max in the Bobderdome.
Did you get all? Did you record everything of what you guys said to cue it, or
Yes.
do we need
Yes.
to do that? Okay, I'll pretend you
Yes.
just got done talking.
Got my cue. Okay. Hey, Ryan,
Okay.
I just got done talking.
So apparently, the Tag Heuer Android Wear smartwatch is going to come out in October or November, and it's going to be $1,400, which is a lot of money for a smartwatch. Not actually a lot of money for a Tag Heuer watch, because their mechanical watches can cost upwards of $4,000. I'm sure that it will be a very nice smartwatch, but I don't imagine many people are going to buy it, because the insides will probably be exactly what you can get in a cheaper watch.
Basically, it will be the most finely crafted gadget that you won't wear in 2 years that you'll ever purchase. It will
Yeah,
be
the problem with
exquisite
this
and
is
useless in 2 years.
Yeah. The problem with this is exactly the same as the Apple Watch. Like, if you spend $1,000 on one of the pricier, even the regular versions, not the gold version of that, the hardware is going to be outdated in a year or two, and then you just got $1,000 watch that doesn't do what you want it to.
Yeah. I'm actually a relatively decent fan of Tag Heuer's watches. I've always kind of looked at them and said, hey, that would be something that I would buy if I had infinite funds. But I don't even think I would. I don't even think, even if I had infinite funds, I'm not sure that I would pay $1,400 for a smartwatch. Because, well, for example, I once paid $200 for a smartwatch, and it pretty much is useless now because it crashes constantly, and I've had it for 5 months. So
That is unfortunate. My Zen watch is still actually fine. So
Android
I
Wear
got myself lucky.
Android Wear really does embitter some people. Once you're down that rabbit hole, it's just a never-ending series of disappointments.
Now, you know what's interesting though about Tag Heuer is I think their watch faces are probably the most often knocked off by people making custom Android Wear watch faces.
It's
so
very true.
maybe maybe when this comes out, it'll have a bunch of like real Tag Heuer watch faces. I'm sure.
The people will then pirate and
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
I
Like,
figure
on
that
Play Store.
on XDA, sideload Tag Heuer watch faces on your Android Wear watch.
I figure they'll be Tag Heuer watch faces, but they'll actually look crappier than the ones that are, secondhand made because they don't actually know how to make Android things.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's gonna be an issue. That
That's
would be
what
my
I expect.
greatest fear. You're like essentially asking a car company, okay, can you guys build a nuclear reactor now? Is that something you've learned about in your car making days?
I would buy a nuclear-powered car. That sounds awesome.
I would buy a nuclear-powered Tag Heuer smartwatch.
Man,
I would not use the word nuclear.
Nuclear. I did use nuclear, didn't I?
Maybe.
You kind of did.
Bummer.
It's
I didn't want to point it out, but
Nuclear. All right. Well, let's move on to Android Wear watches that you actually can buy now, if you would like to. Starting off with the LG Watch Urbane, which is officially available. Right, David?
Yes, and it is officially available on my wrist at the moment. I actually just got it today.
Why is David majorly quiet now?
I don't know. Am I majorly quiet for everybody else?
He's normal volume here.
you sound lovely
You
to
guys
me.
are all majorly quiet now. This is great.
Oh,
What
must
did
be
you do? Bob?
contagious.
What
Did
the
you break
hell
something?
happened?
I don't know.
Hey ho, let me reload it in the plugin window. This is great. Thanks, Google.
So they sent you the gold one, huh?
I actually requested the gold one.
Really?
I did.
don't know how to
I
feel
saw
about
it at MWC and I was like, it looks really nice.
What?
Because it's rose gold, so it's not really rosy rose
Man.
gold, but it's enough that it
David
tempers
said-
the.
David said, I really
Crazy
need
brightness.
something to show my opulence with.
It is a little opulent.
And since I didn't buy the solid gold MacBook,
I really do like the rose. I really do like rose gold, kind of in general.
Yeah, I think it looks nice on, especially with the dark leather band. I think it looks pretty nice on this, but
I think it looks pretty lovely.
yeah,
I
so it's
also-
available now. You can buy one. It's for $50 over the G Watch R. It's actually $100 now, but the case seems way nicer, and you don't get the tick marks on the bezel, and the screen sits closer to the face of the watch. So that's nice.
Yeah, but $350 for almost identical hardware that they came out with 6 months
And you
ago.
can have Android Wear 5.1 right now. which it actually is pretty good. They made a lot of good changes.
I guess it has a Wi-Fi antenna, so it'll do that, unlike LG's previous watches.
Yep.
So they have to build those corner things into the metal bezel so that the Wi-Fi antenna works. You know, the little gaps they put in the corner of metal bezels on phones.
Yeah. I think the back of this is plastic, though, so it has an escape route.
How does it charge?
Just like the G-Watch R.
Just get pogo pins on the back.
I think the cradle is slightly different size, so that I don't actually think they're cross-compatible.
Of course it is, because they wouldn't just make it like, you know, like the same general...
I'm going to have to confirm that, but I think it is, because I know the case on this is smaller in general.
I mean, can you maybe, like, if the pins are still in the same, like...
The pins
like,
are in the same orientation. Maybe if you just shaved off the little plastic thing, you could
like line it up and it'll still charge on the other one.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's possible for sure.
All right, so the bringing in of the new LG watch meant some new news for the old LG watches, starting off with the G Watch R. Got a little bit of a price cut, right, David?
Yep, it is now $249, which is, I guess, kind of reasonable. $300 was already pretty spendy, but it is now the only fully, truly non-flat tire-y watch under $300. But I would personally, if you really want this watch, $100 more for something that already isn't, you know, so hugely useful that it's necessary, you may as well just accumulate a little more disposable income and get the nicer one.
Fair enough. And last but not least, the LG G-Watch, the original. Usually when we're talking about a third generation device like the LG G-Watch Urbane, the original isn't less than a year old, but in this case it is, and no longer available, right, Kim?
It is no longer available, so you no longer can make the mistake of buying the original G-Watch. So be thankful for that.
They've saved you.
Yeah, they really are helping you out. I mean, at least in you know the Google store or whatever the hell they call it now. Yeah, you could probably still buy it other places, but don't do that.
Don't.
I bought one for $50 from AT&T. I still haven't turned it on.
Okay, so the $50, if you could get one for $50, it's probably worth it. But I mean, even if it's $51, don't do it.
David, I would like to invite you to send me $50, and I will send you a drawing of a smartwatch that you can get just as much use out of.
It's true. Sounds like
so we have an agreement.
Economics, great.
That's a verbal contract.
Yeah. Totally.
Awesome. All right, so moving on to updates in the Nexus world, the fabled 5.1.1 release is beginning to roll out to at least one model of Nexus device, right, Kate?
That would be the Nexus 10 of all Nexus devices to be getting 5.1.1.
That's really bizarre.
It's the Nexus 10. Yeah, so the Nexus 10 is getting it. Meanwhile, in Nexus 9 land, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not really going to go there.
We can't talk about the Nexus 9. It's too painful.
The power of voice compels you.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I just checked for updates on my Nexus 10 and it still doesn't have it. So we both have equal amounts of 5.1.1 on our devices.
No, because the Nexus 9 does not have 5.1 at all.
That's
right, but it also doesn't have 5.1.1, and neither does my Nexus 10.
I understand. I understand what you mean now.
Yes. So.
My apologies.
If that in any way, I know it doesn't. Never mind, it doesn't help at all. I'm sorry. Moving on. Google has announced that they're going to be integrating some pretty cool apps into Google Now. So a lot of apps. They had a few at the launch of this functionality, but a lot more right now, Kim.
Yeah. 70 more third-party apps are now going to be in Google Now. I'm not going to name them all, but there are a bunch. A whole bunch. So Google Now is going to be even more useful now, especially with from third-party apps, which I can't say most of what I use Google Now for comes straight from Google Now, like straight from Google, I mean. But the more
has anybody gotten any cards from third-party apps yet?
I have not. But look at the card I just got. Look at the card that I'm looking at here. Oh, look, it's the one that says the Bulls slaughtered the Bucks. Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow, that's a really slow update since that happened
Yesterday. That was last night, yes. I didn't just get it. I just haven't opened Google Now to date. No. I don't have any. No.
Yeah, I haven't seen any pop up yet. I had,
Yeah.
actually, no, that's not true. I did have one pop up from Pandora, and I said, Pandora, you go away. I don't even like you that much.
Yeah, I think I've gotten some field trip cards, but that's still kind of sort of technically a Google app, so I don't know.
It's pretty much a Google app in every possible way, so.
But the developer on the Play Store, it clearly says Niantic Labs
Fair enough.
at Google.
So it's basically like the prequel to shoot. Oh my god, I forgot the name of that other thing they made.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Ingress?
Ingress, that's the thing. That's the thing that I forgot.
Yeah. I wish everybody would forget it.
Field Trip is like the sequel or prequel to Ingress. That's
I'm
not
just
sure.
kidding. I don't wish everybody would forget it. Play the hell out of some Ingress, you Ingress players.
They are a weird bunch.
especially
I
the
think
guy
word
with
you're
the
looking
katana.
for is eclectic.
Sure.
They are an eclectic bunch.
I just hope the guy with the katana is still playing. That's all I
Man.
want. That's all I want to know for sure is that guy is still around playing with his trench coat and his katana.
I think you just named off 8/4 of the Ingress playing crowd.
8/4?
8/4.
8/4.
I see.
All right, so in addition, we've got some new cards directly from Google Now that are showing up in Google Now. Obviously, right?
Yeah, so now you might start seeing cards show up when you have been searching for a product and Google detects that the price has dropped on it someplace on the internet. So they've been doing this for a while with flight data, and now I guess it just happens for general sorts of stuff. I haven't seen this happen yet, but apparently several people have. So I guess
You're gonna start-
keep an eye out.
You're gonna start getting notifications when that $4,000 Tag Heuer watch gets dropped to $3,999.
Yeah, really. Yeah, here we look. We found this watch that you can never actually afford is 5% cheaper. Are you interested? I wonder though if they're gonna have some sort of way of knowing whether or not whether you're searching for something because you own it and it's broken and you need to figure out why it's broken, or you actually want to buy something, because it would be annoying if it kept telling you things you already owned were cheaper.
Yeah, that would be annoying. Well, even if you search for something and then proceeded to actually buy it, I mean, how would it know that you completed that transaction?
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to trust in the Google.
I'm gonna guess it's chemtrails.
Probably.
And definitely lizard people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And fan death? I don't know.
Korean
yeah.
fan death. Yeah, Korean fan death. It never hurt to throw in a little Korean fan death.
Yeah, I can verify that.
Okay, to be fair, if you bought it and you got the receipt emailed to you on your Gmail account, Google would probably know. But
Boy, I would like to think that they can that they're smart enough to pull that kind of data together, but I don't know.
I don't know. They know everything. They basically do. So
Well, I mean, they are the Illuminati, so.
it's true.
Essentially.
All right. Last but not least is voice actions that got added to. Well, I mean, I guess it's just the Google Search app, not necessarily Google Now, but new integration into third-party apps now, right, Kim?
Yeah, third-party apps are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, so now in OK Google, you can say other things that are not just Google commands, but launch apps like NPR1. You can say, OK Google, listen to NPR, or things like that. There are a handful of them. Shazam this song. Show me homes for sale in Boston on Trulia. Open TuneIn in car mode. Oh my God. Walmart. OK Google, scan my receipt on Walmart. What? Anyway, so
Scan my receipt on Walmart.
that's what it says. I don't understand what. OK Google, what the hell does that even mean?
I think Google. I think Google will just reply by saying, "LOL, what?"
I would like that very much.
That'd be great.
I would very much like for that to be.
Most of these commands seem totally useless.
Yeah, they
But,
pretty much are. I mean, oh my God, the Lincoln one. Okay, Google, start my Lincoln MKZ. If I ever hear anybody use that shit in public, I swear to God, I'm like, you don't even understand.
I'm sure there are five guys are super excited about that.
You don't understand. If one of those five guys...
Those five guys need to calm down and give me my burgers and fries.
Those guys are like, oh, it's not just a nice Ford Taurus.
Oh, man. Damn, we just lost 5 listeners. No, just kidding. We lost, like, probably 1.
Well, that probably just happened because their internet connection dropped, so we're good. All right, so finally we've got a new app in the Play Store for the Project Fi. Is it Fi or Fi? Is anybody? I mean,
I guess Fi. It's like Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, Project Fi, because it does rely on Wi-Fi, so I guess that makes sense.
Yes.
Project Fi has an official app in the Play Store that you can download on your phone and not use yet.
Yeah, but it looks like they've updated the listing. So when it first came out, the Project Fi app, which only the service will only work on the Nexus 6 at launch. You can install it on anything, but they have updated it now, and it is incompatible with almost everything. But on my list, it says that it'll install on the Nexus 6, the Nexus 5, and the 2014 Moto X, which is odd. But the service will only work on the Nexus 6 at launch, and so you can use this app whenever Project Fi is a thing that you can actually use, and it'll show you your usage, let you pay your bill, and activate service on the device.
That was loud.
It was, yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. It's very, very loud. Yeah, so basically standard fare for any My Account app on pretty much any carrier. I mean, just
wait, did you say that you could install it on the 2014 Moto X?
Yeah, I mean it says. I mean, according to the Play Store right now, it's installable on the Moto X, the Nexus 5, and the
not
Nexus
for me.
6. I wonder if
only.
Oh, you know what? I bet it is. I bet
a mistake.
It is literally only installable on the Nexus 6 for me.
I bet that it's 5.1 because my 2014 Moto X was running the 5.1 soak last time I had it turned on.
So yeah, you might be right then. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it'd be like an onboarding thing. Download the Project Fi app to switch today.
Oh, that makes sense.
Also, I have to issue a major factual correction. A MKZ is not a tarted up Ford Taurus. It is a tarted up Ford Fusion. My apologies to all Toro and Fuso derivative files out there.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
All right, now it's time to take a little bit of a break to talk about our sponsor for this week. This week's podcast is sponsored by Reflector 2, the easiest way to cast and record your Android device's screen directly on your Windows or OS X computer. Reflector 2 turns your computer into a virtual Google Cast or AirPlay receiver with live recording capabilities so that mirroring your phone or your tablet screen is just as easy as it would be on Chromecast or Apple TV. You can try it out free for a week, or if you decide to buy, we have an exclusive $5 discount code from Android Police and from Squirrels. Just go to airsquirrels.com/reflector and use promo code AndroidPolice51. That's capital A, Android, capital P, Police 51. At checkout, and you can get yourself that discount on a single OS X or Windows license. So we want to thank Squirrels for sponsoring us with the Reflector 2 product. All right, let's move on to the hot sheet. Hot sheet! All right, so LG has made the G4 official, and by all accounts, I'm pretty sure there's absolutely nothing new that we could have possibly learned from an official announcement, but they made it anyways. And David, what do we got? What do we got with the G4? A mute button.
Sorry, I had a mute button. That is what I had there. Before we jump into this, I just wanted to really quickly touch on a meta topic because you guys just heard an advertisement. Just to kind of discuss, we don't regularly do ads on the Android Police podcast, but that is something that's going to change a little bit in the future as we try to grow and evolve the show, upgrade equipment, just invest more time in the show generally. We're looking for people to support us, and just to lay out what that means, right now all it means is a 30-second ad in each episode once. And that's all it's going to be for at least the next 4 months. And that will be one 30-second ad in each episode, and it's just something, we're trying it out, seeing how it works. But that is something you can expect in the shows in the weeks coming. We'll always make it clear that it's an advertisement. So we won't let that cross over into content.
Right on. So tell us about that G4, David.
Oh boy. So I have a G4 right here. And if you're watching the video show, obviously you can see that it looks very much like any LG phone in the last year and a half. And as far as the software goes, it feels like any LG phone in the last year or so. The big concerns with this phone are the performance, because it uses a Snapdragon 808, and so far I'm pretty happy with that. It actually seems really fast. Not quite Nexus 6 fast, but pretty fast. And then the display is a big improvement over the G3, much more contrast, much better maximum brightness. Outdoor visibility seems improved as well. I'm really happy with it there. Battery life seems really good. LG is doing this thing with, they have VRAM in the phone that's basically offloading all of the GPU's work if there's just a static image on the screen to maintain that image going to the display controller, and they say this saves significant battery when you're just not doing anything in the UI. So that's part of it, and then they say efficiency gains, working with Qualcomm, blah blah blah, business talk. And so, but the end result does seem to be pretty good battery life. I think it's easy to do 4 hours of screen on this phone in a day. If you're mixed Wi-Fi and mobile data, it's pretty impressive. And that's not even trying to conserve battery, just automatic brightness and all the wireless stuff on all the time. I like it so far. The camera is also really good, but we'll wait for our full review to say more. So if you want to, see the specs and stuff, obviously you can check out our announcement post.
Right on. All right. So we did find out also this week that when T-Mobile launches that G4 on their network, they will also have a couple of mid-range LG phones to launch alongside of it: the Leon and the G Stylo, which we have, believe it or not, mentioned before on the show. They will be available right around the same time, and you can probably guess that they are not flagship material, but they'll be there, and you will be able to buy them for cheap dollars.
Is it me?
It's you.
Ah, I guess I should have been paying attention. Dell's work-oriented Venue 10 7000 is now available, priced at $499, or if you want to get one with a keyboard dock, you can buy it for $629. Again, that's the Dell Venue 10 7000.
Okay, so device updates to announce. If you are a Nexus 9 owner, cover your ears, because T-Mobile's Galaxy S6 Edge has become the first Samsung device and the first device on T-Mobile to get the 5.1 upgrade. So if you have one of those, check for it now. Obviously, if you have the original Edge, or I'm sorry, you have the original Galaxy S6, it's probably going to be coming pretty soon. They're pretty similar devices. So Verizon has also begun pushing out the Lollipop update. Lollipop, yes. Lollipop. It's a gateway.
My favorite kind of
gateway
pot.
operating system. Anyway, so Verizon has begun pushing out the Lollipop update to the Galaxy S4. T-Mobile is pushing it out to the Galaxy Note 4. US Cellular is pushing it out to the Galaxy Note 3. So lots of updates for Samsung devices across multiple carriers.
Also, Sprint is rolling out the Android 5.0 over-the-air update for owners of the LG G2. Also, if you own an LG Optimus L90 on T-Mobile, you are receiving Android Lollipop over the air as well.
All right, product reviews.
It's time for product reviews. This week we start with the Alcatel One-Touch Idol 3 with David Ruddick. Can I get the what David Ruddock, who has his mute button
Really
on?
keep forgetting about that mute button this evening. So this phone got a lot of coverage. Like, I mean, a lot of people probably didn't expect to see a bunch of tier 1 tech sites reviewing a phone made by Alcatel. It seems really weird. But Alcatel actually they're like going to be probably number 5 or 6 in the smartphone OEMs for shipments worldwide this year. Maybe number 7 if things don't go as well. But they're really big. Just not in America unless you like a really crappy $50 carrier prepaid phone. But the One-Touch Idol 3 is basically their kind of take at a budget flagship phone. You know, looking at like the OnePlus model or the Xiaomi model, phones like that, or the Nexus 5 model, I guess, that were cheap but had the high-end components that you'd want in a nice high-end phone. The problem with it is essentially that you're paying for a low-end chip. It's a Snapdragon 615, which is basically a 410 with like a number of cores inferiority complex. It's not a really good chipset. So the phone is relatively sluggish compared to a OnePlus One. This thing's going to feel real slow, no doubt about it. But the other thing is, the screen's really nice. The camera is really pretty good. It has an 8-megapixel front-facing camera, which is getting to be a trend. It runs Android 5.0 and with almost no modifications to the firmware as far as look and feel. Very little bloatware. The screen is great. It's a IPS LCD, 1080p. You know, not more resolution than you'd want on a cheap phone. And it looks great. Colors are really good. There's a little bit of cast at certain angles, but it's not super bad. And at this price point, I mean, you wouldn't expect something like this. Overall, I like the phone. I just didn't feel it was fast enough. The battery life was good, though. I will say that. It was easily getting me through a day.
Do we know what carriers that's going to be available on?
It's unlocked.
It is unlocked only, and it is $250
right.
unless you buy it somewhere other than Amazon, and then it's $280 because Alcatel wants to charge you more, I guess.
I think someone should start a carrier called Unlocked, and then it would just confuse a lot of people.
Yes.
But you'd probably get a lot of business. A lot of grandmas.
Yeah, that's yeah.
All right, so next we have the BLU Selfie cam. Selfie cam. I just said selfie cam.
Oh, selfie cam. Look what I did. I remembered to unmute my mic before I started talking. Isn't that neat?
Oh, it's burn. It's getting hostile here.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to
Go get some
take
ointments.
shots where I can. So yeah, the selfie. It is called such because it has 13 megapixel front-facing camera. Also has a 13 megapixel rear camera. It has a single flash on the front and dual flashes on the back. So the cameras are pretty good. I think it uses the same sensor that's in the 2014 Moto X, which is in other phones too. I don't know, G3 I think, and maybe something else.
It's a
I don't know.
Sony sensor that is in a butt ton of phones.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. You know, it's not super fantastic great, but it's a $250 phone also. And I mean for a $250 phone, I think it takes really good pictures. I mean that's what it's all about with this phone. I mean it's called the selfie. It's all about the camera experience. Otherwise it's basically stock Android. It's got a 4.7-inch display, which I really like. It's 720p, but I thought it looked fantastic. A lot of BLU displays, especially on their phones that they consider to be higher end. The displays always look really good to me. The form factor is kind of funky. Let me pull it out here. I've actually got it in the box down here. The form factor is kind of...
Oh, his voice cut out. The form factor is kind of...
Yeah, apparently I hit the space bar and my mouse was like hovered over the microphone, so it's muted.
Instead of muting before you talked, you muted in the middle of talking.
That's
Which
what I
is
get.
much more effective. It got me to start listening
a little
again.
bit of karmic justice
It was
there.
karma. That was like basically the internet equivalent of talk shit, get hit. That's what just happened. So anyway, the form factor is kind of funky. It's got a weird shape. I don't know if you can probably see this. It's
I
kind
would say that it's a little bit ugly.
I don't think it's that ugly.
I don't think it's ugly.
No. Look at I mean, you might not be able to tell looking at the front, but the screen, it looks small compared to the overall device because of the weird
I don't have it. Let me turn it on. It does because it does have these, like you can see, it's got these enormous bezels at the top and bottom, which they're absolutely getting ripped about, like in comments that I've seen, not just on our posts, but on Facebook and other places. But honestly, I still don't. I don't know. Big bezel like that don't really bother me, especially because if this were a huge phone, I could see that being annoying. But I like the size. I don't know. I mean, it's got a 4.7-inch display. I really like the display. I like the size and the bezels. They don't really bother me.
I mean, you can't complain too much when it costs.
It's $250. Yeah, I mean, if it were $400, $500, $600, I could see how people would be like, "No, this is crap." But for the price, I don't think it's bad at all. And I really like the way the back, like it bends, it folds all the way around the bottom and to the front, and I think that's actually pretty damn cool. So
okay. So I'm going to offer my unadulterated opinion here and say this phone may be the ugliest phone I have ever seen in my life. It is bad.
No way.
I mean, no, there must be uglier phones.
It is like a caricature of a smartphone. Like if somebody drew a fake smartphone, it would look like that phone. That is how I feel about it.
What was that HTC phone from a few weeks ago?
The E9?
Yeah, that. I mean, come on. Is it uglier than that?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Ouch.
Man, see, I don't think it's really that bad, honestly. I just don't. I mean, I can see how people would think it's bad, but I don't really think it's that bad. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've used it, and I kind of look past that it might be ugly just because, I mean, it's got a MediaTek processor in it. It's the MediaTek, I don't remember the model number. It's really not that important. It's the octa-core processor from MediaTek, and it's the only MediaTek chip that I've ever used in a phone where I don't feel like I have to say, well, it's good for what it is. It's actually really good. I mean, the performance from the MediaTek processor is solid. It's the same processor that's in the Vivo Air and I think one other phone. And it's just, I think it's fine. I think the performance is really solid on it.
Dude, we just got some major audio weirdness. Could you say the last, 2 sentences, Cameron?
Probably not, because I have no idea what I said. No clue. I said...
So okay, we don't have any idea what you said either. So.
Oh, well,
it sounded like you said.
That's exactly what I said.
Is that what you said?
Just put that in. Yeah,
like you downloaded
exactly No, I just said that I don't think the MediaTek chip in it is terrible, awful, bad, awful. I think it's good. I think it's fine.
I'm really picky about performance, so I have no idea. I could think it was super slow. I was pretty. That was the one thing that because it was the Idol was such a nice phone, but then when I went to use it, I was like, oh, it's.
If I'm not mistaken, the performance level of this MediaTek chip has been compared to the Snapdragon 800.
Oh, okay. So it might actually be significantly faster.
Yeah, it's not like blazing brand new super smartphone fast, but it's definitely usable, and it's not. I wouldn't call it slow at all.
Alrighty then. Shall we move on to other news then?
Other news? Okay. It is time for the other news.
I like our other news sounder. It really gets me in the mood to talk about different things.
About different things.
Right.
So
things that are other than what we've been talking about already.
Mm-hmm. All right, so today we are going to be talking about an other operating system.
What?
Yes, in this case, Windows 10. Because, well, interestingly enough, Windows 10 is taking all apps from everyone and taking them and calling them their own. I believe that's the gist of it, right, Ryan?
Yes, they are going to take your apps. All your apps belong to Microsoft. Basically, they're just providing a way for developers of iOS and Android apps to easily port those to the Windows 10 platform. So I think this will be part of a new version of Visual Studio, and you'll just sort of hopefully see more apps on Windows that were originally designed for other things. I don't know how good they'll be, because a lot of times porting apps is not a smart thing because the UIs don't match, and sometimes they just features just don't work right. But hopefully they'll be better, because I don't know if you've ever looked in the Windows Store, it's real bad. It's real bad in there. And of course, the Windows Phone stuff has been limping along for like 5 years now without without much luck.
I just want to say that the whole use of apps in Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 on like normal sized computers is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it is terrible.
It is
the modern
completely
UI
and totally
stuff.
ridiculous.
The modern UI stuff is so terrible, and especially if you have to, if you go into the main settings on Windows 8 and like everything is that same full screen nonsense. It's just it's so bad.
So when you're working on like a 24-inch monitor and you're like you start up the app for calculator instead of using the desktop calculator, and it gives you 9 buttons spread over the entire 24-inch screen, it's too much. And I'll be honest, I could care less if that was an Android calculator app or not. If it's taking up my entire 24-inch screen, I don't want it.
Yeah, with Windows 10, the system UI, the setting UI, is back to being Windows again, which is nice.
Yeah, that they really had to admit defeat on that one. It was a bad idea from the start.
I've been using the technical preview on my laptop for a couple months. Well, I shouldn't say a couple months. It's been on there a couple months. I've been using it for like a week. And so far, it's actually pretty good, aside from breaking a bunch of drivers, because it's a technical preview.
Well, that's good. That's encouraging. Thank you. Thank you for that, David. All right, so let's talk about Ouya, or, well, let's talk about the demise of Ouya. Well, I think David's been talking about that ever since they came around. But Ryan, what's new in Ouya land?
So they are probably looking for somebody to buy the company. This is according to a number of reports that were out the other day. Basically, Ouya took a lot of money, somewhere in the tens of millions. We don't know exactly how much, from venture capitalists, and they have not been able to meet their obligations for the debt. So they are looking for somebody to buy the company very quickly. The memo that was leaked came from early in April, and it said that they were looking for potential buyers to express interest by the end of April. And so I guess we'll probably find out soon if this is happening, who is going to buy Ouya and what they're going to do with it. There's no guarantee that they will continue being Ouya as we have known it thus far. It might just be split up and sold off in pieces, or or maybe somebody will try to reboot it. I don't know, but it looks like things are not going well for the Ouya platform, and that's not really surprising because it was never very good. The hardware was never good. The App Store was pretty slow to get big titles, and just the whole idea of playing games designed for phones and tablets on a TV is not really a very good one, at least in my opinion.
So, do you think that maybe collectively we could all at AP throw in like $20 each and buy Ouya?
I think probably as long as we're willing to take on $20 million of debt, I'm sure they would take whatever cash we pull together.
I would say their only hope is being bought by some Chinese company that wants to make like private label Ouya products.
Yeah, they've already got a deal with, I think, was it Xiaomi or Alibaba, I think, to put the Ouya platform on like TVs and micro consoles in China.
Yeah, I think this ends in Chapter 13. Honestly, or Chapter 11, whatever chapter. It's going to end in bankruptcy. That was the point I was trying to make.
The one where they are sold off in pieces to pay off the creditors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Nobody wants to touch this. With Ouya, they spent too much time out of the limelight and then didn't do anything at all. And so they're kind of seen like they're dead weight.
They got 8.6 million from Kickstarter. I mean, like with that kind, like hardware is hard. I mean, we know that from every other Kickstarter that has existed, but that's a lot of money to have upfront to at least get this thing started. And they and then they took millions more, and it still wasn't enough. So, I mean, yeah, I don't see anybody looking to pour more money into this.
Having an issue there.
They took millions. What?
Oh, so yeah, I was just saying, they took millions more to try to make this work, and it never did. So I don't see how anybody would want to actually keep it going as the gaming company has been thus far. I mean, and anybody that tried would have to build new hardware because they're still using a box that runs a Tegra 3, and that's just not going to fly going forward.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to emails. We have an email this week, Bob.
We do have an email. Came in from Ed Wilson. Ed asks, my last couple of phones have been unlocked devices. Since Samsung isn't selling an unlocked S6 in the US, which carrier version works best on both AT&T and T-Mobile's networks?
Okay, so I actually did the brief research on this, and the one with the best bands it's obviously going to be AT&T or T-Mobile's version, and it's AT&T's, but only kind of by default, because the AT&T version supports 3 LTE bands that basically only AT&T uses, and then supports all the other LTE bands that the T-Mobile version does.
Yeah, it has AWS too, because AT&T uses AWS in like 3 cities. So, and that's T-Mobile's.
It has like I think it's like bands 20, 29, and 30, which are all weirdo bands that almost nobody else in the world uses.
Yeah, I mean, and the AT&T one also has band 12, does it have band 12? No, it doesn't have band 12.
It doesn't.
No, that's the T-Mobile one. No, okay, so I mean, a lot of
have band 12.
The T-Mobile.
I don't think either both have it or neither of them have it, because the only different bands are 20, 29, and 30.
We should check and make sure. I feel like the T-Mobile one has 12 because I think everything they're putting out now has band 12 because that's what they're rolling out in urban areas.
We'll look here real quick.
I don't know if T-Mobile's website lists the bands like AT&T
does. Yes, 12 and 17. So I believe so. AT&T I believe has band 12 as well.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so probably the AT&T one, but
they're both carrier locked, and T-Mobile has, I guess, the slightly less draconian unlocking policy. They're both still pretty crappy.
Yeah, you're still gonna have to pay full price and wait a few days.
Will either of them let you buy it without a contract?
Yeah, and at that point, then you have to still request to get it unlocked, and then because you're not a customer, it's harder.
Yeah, I think you might have to do like a month of service when you.
Yeah, it might be. They are real sticklers about that.
I mean, if it's an older phone, I think they don't usually care, but for a brand new device like that, they might still force you to set up an account.
So the best thing you can do is buy a Canadian one and see what bands those have. I'm not sure what bands Canadian ones have, but they're sold unlocked.
I bet it'll probably be the AT&T one. I think a lot of Canadian carriers use the same.
Yeah, Rogers being the main one that is sharing a lot of bands with AT&T, I think.
Yeah, so maybe look into that. I mean, and then there are international.
You're going to pay a premium though.
There are international ones that I think have most of the right bands. If you look around on eBay, I think those are still popping up every now and then.
Yeah, and they're more expensive though. And then there's the whole thing where I think the retailers know to unregion lock them, but you could get one that's region locked, and then you're stuck. So yeah.
That was like a lot of static, and then
all we heard was gap.
You guys are having some audio issues on your end. Everything is fine for me.
Some issues, yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Which is why we need people to sponsor syllables on our show.
that's right. I
Yeah,
have one.
We're looking for people to do vowels this week, so if you want to sponsor the vowels for next week's podcast, please email us.
The one thing we should warn Ed Wilson about, though, is the fact that the AT&T Galaxy S6 has poor email management software.
It does. I read that in an AT&T product review.
Yeah.
So be prepared. Be prepared for that if you get the AT&T version. Never mind that it's probably exactly the same as every other phone out there. So yeah.
We also had a voicemail this week. Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen. My grandmother was looking to get a smartphone, and as much as I love Android and really do detest Apple, the iPhone was much clearer choice because, well, frankly, it's more dummy-proof, and you can go to a mall and get stuff figured out in a way that Android just doesn't allow. Which got me thinking, does Google need a premium program like the Silver program was supposed to be? Something that's a walled garden, more dummy-proof, more premium, more hand-holding from a support standpoint, or just from a here's how you do stuff aspect? Or is it okay, certainly it's been hugely successful, as is, just being the more the platform for people who want to be able to tinker a little bit, want more options in how they do stuff, or just want a really cheap phone? Your thoughts are appreciated. Thank you very much.
So my take from the whole thing is, read between the lines, Matt thinks his grandma is a dummy.
Oh.
He said dummy proof. He said it. His words, not mine.
The one thing I would say to that, and I know it probably doesn't quite match completely, but if you go with a Samsung device, most of the new ones have a simple mode on them, which is pretty basic. I personally would never use it, but I can understand why some people might like it if they're a little bit more intimidated by smartphones. They also have the in-store support from the Samsung staff at your local Best Buy, so that's maybe not exactly what you're asking, but it's at least something that exists out there in the.
I don't think Android is really to blame here. I feel like it's manufacturers. I mean, like you just said, Samsung has the simple mode, but I feel like Samsung's still a big part of the problem, and LG for cramming so much garbage and just straight up trash in the operating system. It is so hard to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah, differences for the sake of differences really hurt usability.
Yeah, exactly.
Brand.
I don't feel like stock Android, or close to stock Android, like the Moto X or something like that, is any more convoluted or difficult to use or hard to understand than an iPhone is. I mean, I feel like it's very straightforward.
I would say iOS has a few more bumpers built in where you can't do something you won't understand necessarily as easily. But it's not hugely different in that regard.
The main interface in iOS is, a list of apps, which is easier for people to grasp. I mean, some people just are never going to wander into the settings of either operating system, so it might not be a huge difference.
Yeah,
it's true.
And honestly, I think there are some things on iOS that are more difficult and more of a pain in the ass than they are on Android. So I don't know. I don't think you can just throw out a blanket statement like that and say that it's just idiot proof.
I think that the service Apple provides though is a huge factor there, because you go to the Apple Store and there is somebody there. You can either pay or wait to help you with your problem, and it's their job to do that, and that's all they do.
No,
that's
true.
an
It's
Apple
huge
Store, that's
for
good.
people who don't understand the technology.
I would personally recommend to all mothers and grandmas out there that if you don't know much about phones, you should probably just get whatever kind of phone the person you rely on for technical support has.
Yeah, and they won't resent you for it at all, so it's fine.
No,
if we're talking
totally.
about radical self-interest, get a phone that somebody can help you with, but
Yeah, but if not, go to the Apple Store and somebody there in a blue shirt will tell you how to do, transfer your photos to the email.
A genius, you might say.
Yes. But as far as Android Silver goes, that whole thing with does Google need to do this? And I think the answer is it'd be hard for Google to do this because their market share is so tiny, and old people don't really understand that Google is anything but the thing in the window, and that's where you Google things. That's the Google. So I don't think Google has the brand, and I don't think Google has that image of being super user-friendly either at all. In fact, that's very kind of the antithesis of their brand to an extent. So I don't know if Android really should try to break into that. I think that's better left to the device manufacturers who are much more concerned with customer happiness. Unfortunately, still, with most of those OEMs being not based in America and not having any kind of support infrastructure really outside of online chat, all the duty still falls on the carriers, which results in the stigma of things being hard to use because employees don't understand how to use the products they sell.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. So no contest going on this week, but make sure you check out androidpolice.com/contests on a regular basis, at least 3 or 4 times an hour, to make sure that you don't miss anything. And with that, Bob, do you want to cue the outro, sir?
I will, but before that, again, we wanted to take one more opportunity to thank Squirrels, the makers of Reflector 2. As a reminder, Android Police 51, capital A, Android, capital P, Police 51, is a checkout code you can use for an exclusive $5 discount on the Reflector 2 software. So check it out. We hope you enjoyed the show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also call us at 530-HELLO-AP. That's 530-435-5627. Find us on Twitter at Android Police, Google Plus, and Facebook.
And for those of you listening to the live show or watching the YouTube show, you should actually check out Reflector 2 if you like casting your screen to your TV, because it just turns your computer into a Chromecast. So you can cast your screen to your computer, and it works. It's like a one-click install, and then you just cast your screen to your computer as long as your phone's on your network. It's pretty neat.
It is very cool.
Okay, I gotta go.
All
See
right,
you, Cameron.
Okay.
Peace.
I just wanted to mention Matt and I have some close ties with the guys over at Squirrels. A couple of the founders of the company we worked with, actually, the company that Matt and I both work at now, they started there just as a single guy coding in his spare time, built up to a company of over 20 people now, and they had the first, even before Apple had AirPlay software built into their devices, they had the first AirPlay software for Macs too. So they have a long history of AirPlay, and now since mid-April having Google Cast abilities in the Reflector software. So it's pretty cool software, and like David said, check it out.
And that part's not an advertisement. I was just saying that because I thought it was cool. I tried it out, and I thought it was actually pretty neat.
Right, and I'm just saying it because I've used their Reflector software and also AirParrot for the past couple of years, and it's I have tons of fun. In fact, when you couple the two softwares together, you have AirPlay sending and receiving capability pretty much on any device you can hope for. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
All right,
and,
gents.
Send us emails, because you people watching on YouTube and listening live actually pay attention most probably of the time. So if you send us emails with questions, we can answer them, and that actually is really good filler content usually, because then it makes us sound really smart when we have the answers to questions too.
It's
That's
actually
always
killer
helpful.
content. It's not filler. No filler.
It is.
Killer clowns from outer space.
Yes.
Content.
That's correct. So send them in or do phone calls. But there's no reason that it has to be a voice call. I mean, it's an audio show, but we can read back your question, and it's fine.
In fact, we might even do a dramatic reading of your email if it's well written.
We could. Dramatic readings of emails. That could be a signature AP treatment.
We've done that before. I don't know about dramatic, but we've
If you
nostalgic
email us
readings.
a question, then Bob will read it in a Shakespearean voice.
Oh, Shakespearean.
Yeah.
That's hard. Dear Android Police, my last couple of phones have been unlocked devices. Since Samsung isn't selling an unlocked S6 in the US, which carrier version works best on both AT&T and T-Mobile's networks? Sincerely yours, Ed Wilson. See how that works?
Great. I love it.
Fantastic.
All right, later, people.
All right, peace out.
Happy weekend.